So, Razorfist just stepped in it big time. Seems like he and Tipper Gore have a lot more in common now. Hello everyone, it's Moneybags again, and today's video is one I really wasn't excited to make. I've been watching Razorfist for a few years now. I'd even call myself a fan. I haven't missed a single upload for several years, in fact, and I even still stand behind Metal Mythos as a very informative watch for new metal fans, and I find Razor's video making style quite enjoyable. Now, over the past year or so, Razor's made a shift toward Christianity, and while there's nothing inherently wrong with that in itself, everything came to a head recently when he made this tweet.
The religious right is back, or the original more religious right, while Panic was a side forwarded by a media you now acknowledge to be corrupt, yet never considered may have lied to you back then. So is this. Keep feeding me roast material, though. This is gold.
This all started when Melanie Mac decided to open mouth and insert foot on the topic of sexual content in video games, claiming that the game The First Descendant is pornographic due to its featuring of a mildly sexually suggestive emote, and in her conflation of it with pornography, which she argues should be banned, effectively constituted her calling for censorship, kicking off an event known now as Goonergate. Now, I'm not really going to get into the nitty-gritty of this whole Goonergate situation, but suffice it to say that it led to a massive Twitter crash out that led Razorfist echoing comic artist and Fandom Pulse founder John Della Rosa's sentiment that the Satanic Panic was not only a fabrication, but a psyop. This is a very strange claim to make, as Razor claims to be a massive fan of heavy metal. And as many who love metal and know its history would know, metal was the epicenter of the Satanic Panic. Not only is this take strange, this denial contradicts several of Razor's statements about the Satanic Panic in prior videos, particularly the Metal Mythos entries on King Diamond and Wasp. Razor talks directly about the Satanic Panic and its impact on metal in both videos, and takes a staunch anti-censorship approach in both, a notable about-face when you look at his current stances. By the standard he's now set, Wasp's Animal Fuck Like a Beast is pornography due to the nature of the imagery created by its lyrics, which renders his statement about the facts a pro-pornography stance by his new standard. Furthermore, to deny the existence of the Satanic Panic is to deny the motives of the PMRC hearings, the Judas Priest lawsuit, the false imprisonment of the West Memphis 3, and the various smear campaigns against metal bands like Slayer and Venom, not to mention the hobbies that he also engages in, like tabletop role-playing games, video games, and horror movies. Hell, even going back to the 2000s when I was growing up, there were moral panics about Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! That were mostly motivated by religious concerns. I was even disallowed from engaging or watching Pokemon because of it. Regardless of whether or not Razor had said anything, be this the fervor of the convert or even a grift, for a metal fan to make the statement that the Satanic Panic never happened is extremely stupid at best, or ignoring the facts of metal's history at worst. Venom, like I said, had to defend themselves from accusations of ill intent frequently in the 80s, as did the devoutly Catholic Tom Araya of Slayer fame. And to deny this further denies metal's struggles with religious fundamentalism. Was it not a moral panic when Judas Priest was taken to court after being falsely accused of driving two young men to attempt suicide? Was it not a moral panic when Wasp's lyrical content was seen as so objectionable that they were threatened with legal action if they released their most popular song as a track on their first album? Was it not a moral panic when 3 young teenage boys were imprisoned for a crime they didn't commit based on their hobbies, which were the subject of the moral panic we're talking about? The line of logic that Razor in the camp of creators he's aligning himself with is a dangerous and censorious one, and it could very easily come back to bite him in the ass if it were implemented. And while I hope it doesn't, if he were held to the same standard which he now holds others, it absolutely would. Furthermore, like I said, I know Razorfist is an avowed nerd, and he's even said that he likes tabletop role-playing games like D&D. The Satanic Panic was important to the history of D&D, just as it was for metal. I'm guessing now Razor's just saying that Mazes and Monsters, the chick tracks, and the various sensationalized headlines about D&D from the time are fictitious too then. The reality is, The discourse around censorship being had right now is primarily about media that was made for and is aimed at, and with the exception of some outliers that I'm sure exist, is being talked about exclusively by adults. And the reality of being an adult is that it's our responsibility to decide what kind of content we choose to consume. It's not the responsibility of the state or a religious group or a cabal of moral busybodies on the internet to decide whether or not I can have tits and ass in my games, gore in my movies, offensive lyrics in my music, or any other content one might find objectionable in my entertainment. The content being talked about should be available to those who want it, and those who don't are not obligated to buy it for any reason. But to deny the moral panics that tried to destroy the music that I, and supposedly Razor as well, love to earn some political brownie points in the culture war is unbelievably foolish. My final statement is going to be an entreaty to Razor himself, even if he never watches this, which I doubt he will. You've made strange bedfellows. Best hope they don't come for you when the purity spiral goes even further down. I hope you can come to your senses and really parse the fact that what you're spewing right now is a bunch of censorious nonsense, but if not, I'll always have the good memories I made with your older work. Until next time, rock hard, ride free, and don't limit my expression. Moneybags out.